we are already kicking off with our animated films. Now, for these 4 Wednesdays and a Thursday, we will be looking into the films nominated for Best Documentary Feature. As I talk about a Chinese glass company that buys a factory in America with a big clash against the workers without a union, an underground children's hospital in Syria led by female doctors as they try to save children every day from everyday missile attacks, the rise and fall of the 35th and 36th president of Brazil, as well with their political Workers' Party which divides all citizens, a video diary love letter for a daughter and her parents reside and work in a children's hospital during the Battle of Aleppo, and a successful village beekeeper is ruined when a Turkish rancher decides to do what she does and made him and his family more powerful than her. And the films I'm talking about are American Factory, The Cave, The Edge of Democracy, For Sama, and Honeyland. I really don't need to repeat on what I said on how these reviews, but let me just say, all of these nominees have a lot of different languages in here. Outside of English, you get Arabic, Portuguese, Balkan Turkish, and Mandarin. And 2 of these nominees have to do with the Syrian Civil War, which the documentary branch of the Academy seems to love, as I have reviewed 2 of their previous nominated films, Last Men in Aleppo and Of Fathers and Sons. And speaking of which, the director of the first film, Feras Fayyad, has a new Syrian Civil War documentary which was nominated here, and this time with National Geographic, which did have a big win last year with Free Solo. Now, for my memories on reviewing Last Men in Aleppo, I thought it was just alright, even though it had a lot of emotional moments with the rescuers, with their families, but we didn't see much of the time they risked their lives to save civilians out there. But now, for his second nominated film, From Those Who Rescues Peoples to Those Who Saves People's Lives, with The Cave. Fayyad's new movie is centered around a children's hospital that has a new child patient every day from dusk till dawn, as Russian warplanes destroyed every landmark they can. While underground, this hospital led by a 28-year-old woman named Dr. Amani Ballour, as she and other doctors and nurses, which is run by both man and woman, make sure to save these children as they can, while they protect them under siege 60 feet below the surface so that the Russians can't find them. Syrian Civil War documentaries are not usually my thing here. It's because of its heavy subject, when it involves injured or even dead people, but we don't get much development on putting both themselves and what they do to risk their lives. Last Men in Aleppo didn't work for me, but The Cave did. Fayyad made a massive step up to his previous film, and that's mainly because of the doctors here. Everyone has a unique personality when they are working together, making food for themselves, listening to some classic music, all doing this in a very hard time, and this is all thanks to Dr. Amani here. This is basically her story, as she's not also had to deal with this massive war going on to trying to save these children, but also being discriminated from some Islamic male citizens for being a woman in charge of a hospital. When I was watching this, there were many times I was rooting for her in my mind, but also feeling bad for her if the mission to save these children from the deadly chemical weapons fail. And for those who do survive, she sounds like a perfect mother figure to all these children. There was especially one scene in particular where she was interacting with a girl patient, and she's also fixing her hair and tells her not to comb or even wash it to express themselves on who she is. That scene alone was so lighthearted, it made me have an emotional smile to Dr. Amani, which this movie is telling me that I should give her a hug on how inspired she can be. As for the technical aspect with Feras Fayyad and his crew, they really show how dangerous it is to film in a very hard time like this. That you feel nervous with the crew as well, which unfortunately some of the crew members did lose their lives while filming this, and they were dedicated in the end credits of the film. As for everything it has, it's well paced here. The score by Matthew Herbert is intense, and some additional script writing really kind of sets you in the field of a tough situation these people have. If there is any minor flaws here, is that we didn't get much information of the origins of the cave itself, on how it began, and how it was built. And we don't get much knowledge on some of the other doctors. We do get them having heartbreaks when they can't save a child, but not enough for a personality except for the head surgeon of the hospital. In terms of the cave here, I was very impressed here, for not a massive step up to Fayyad, but also an introduction to us, an inspirational doctor here. This film is not also better than Last Men in Aleppo, but I would also say it's the better National Geographic film over Free Solo in terms of the Oscars. And yes, that might be a shocking right there. I will say that this film is not for everyone. Since this is a documentary that does center around the Syrian Civil War, there will be some major graphic violence which may disturb some viewers. And it's hard to say this, but if you're gonna watch this, I warn you that there might be some dead bodies in this one, let alone children. However, if you are someone who is on or planning to be in a career of medical doctors, nurses, etc., I do say give this a watch here and see how you feel about this. We will come back to Syria for another Syrian Civil War documentary, but next Wednesday we're going southwest to Brazil, as all the citizens are very divisive with the rise and downfall of their two former leaders.